says, you make Barack Obama angry. When you make him angry, he turns. He turns into the Rock Obama.
Very, very punny, David. I don't know that anyone would have laughed if it wasn't on Saturday Night Live, to be honest with you on that one. But our guest now, it's Gail Collins, New York Times columnist joining us from New York, and the author of a brand new book, When Everything Changed, The American Journey of American Women from 1960 to the Present. Gail, thanks for being here.
It's a pleasure.
So when everything changed, let's start right there. Has everything changed, especially when we come to politics? We know that there were a lot of cracks in the glass ceiling, but the ultimate glass ceiling has not been shattered.
You mean the White House?
That's right.
You know, that was such a huge goal for women back in the day, that the whole idea was that once you had a woman in the White House, everything would be totally changed forever. In fact, I think Hillary Clinton did the most important thing of all. She made people used to the idea that there could be a woman commander-in-chief, that there would be a woman president. If with the next woman that runs, it's not going to be a big deal.
Except, of course, maybe if that woman is Sarah Palin. No, I mean, if
well, that'll be a big deal for reasons other than the womanness of Sarah Palin.
Do you see women on the horizon right now that are ready to crack that glass ceiling? People that you say, oh, these are contenders in the next generation?
You know, it's very hard to see contenders of any sex out there right now. It's kind of really hard to imagine them. When last time around, when John McCain was looking for a running mate, if he'd picked Olympia Snowe, we'd be in a whole different world right now, you know?
I wanted to ask you about Olympia Snowe. I mean, she was in the news so much, got so much attention last week. Was there anything that impacted in your watching the coverage of that? Were people saying female senator as opposed to key senator? Was there a difference in the way that we treated that?
No, I mean, the deal with Olympia Snowe is only moderate Republican left in the history of the world right now, but it's not about her being a woman at all.
There used to be a time where there were lots of those, I recall. Yeah. I do want to turn to this idea, and you've gotten at this in some of your columns, and this idea of Obama being tough enough or not. What you see right now happening with Obama in Washington and this sort of almost disillusionment, perhaps, among his core supporters on the left, are they rightly disillusioned, do you think?
Well, it was inevitable. It always is when you get a president, and suddenly it's really, really, really hard, and the Senate is really impossible. I can't in my own mind envision a scenario in which he turns into the Rock and actually manages to do all these things people wanted him to do in 5 seconds. It was just sort of inevitable this had happened.
Should the White House care if liberals are upset or perturbed by what they see as the pace of progress? There's a thinking inside the White House that we don't really need them because it's not like they're going to go anywhere else.
No, I don't think there's that feeling because truly there's no place else for them to go, but they cannot vote. And that's kind of what you're seeing in Virginia, for instance. It's not that the people of Virginia have turned against Barack Obama and they're really ticked off because there's no public option and so therefore they're going to vote for this Republican. But without Obama on the ticket, they're just not enthusiastic. They don't care all that much, and the problem is going to be turnout.
We've also seen that in terms of the public policy realm as well. You know, Obama and the DNC, they tried to launch sort of that whole Organizing for America, take the campaign grassroots and try to get that to, and this is Obama, not quote unquote on the ballot, but leading the charge of healthcare effort, and they don't seem to be turning out for that either, not just the off-year election, but his tried and true principles that he's trying to get through Congress.
Yeah, it's so, you know, it was so easy when the question was, do you really hate George W. Bush? And everybody kind of rallied around that. When the question is, which of the many health care plans would you like, and how much money do you think should go into the paying off people to get new policies, and what about the public option, or should there be a trigger option? That stuff is hard to imagine riotous crowds marching to the barricades for. It gets very complicated. We always knew that was going to be a weirder and harder thing to do.
And turning back to the topic of your book, do you see a gender split at all in the enthusiasm for President Obama? A lot of people were worried during the campaign, will female voters ultimately support him after the battle with Hillary Clinton?
Yeah, and they did. You know, I mean, it was very disappointing for a lot of people when Hillary Clinton didn't get the nomination, but people came around. It stopped being an issue. The gender gap, to my mind, has to do with concern for things like the social safety net. Women are just way more concerned about making sure people are taken care of than guys are, and that seems to me at least to be the basis of it, so there shouldn't be a problem.
All right, Gail Collins, New York Times columnist, the author of a brand new book, When Everything Changed. Appreciate you being with us.
No problem.
Thanks a lot. Good luck with the book.
Thank you.
Rick, Gail has just been sort of knocking it out of the park in the last couple of years. I think her column is certainly a must-read. I think she's in a groove. I urge everybody to take a look at it.
And the book.
That does it for this edition of Top Line. Be sure to click us on again tomorrow.
It's twitter.com/The Note. Keep the conversation going. Yankees up 2-0.
Are you kidding me?
Cruise path, right?
That's
Boom.
the biggest nonsense.
That's NY.